Good evening, I'm Adventure Argonaut. This is the Golden News, and I bring you the news. But before we get to the news, I wanna shield my own videos because I've been doing a bit different stuff as well. Because last weekend I uploaded to my YouTube and Rumble channels the Argospective review of Operation Abyss, the Japanese dungeon crawl RPG, and I spent many hours on it and finally got it done. And also yesterday I made a review of the first season of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and probably next week I will do season two. But I'm checked that my streams are functional, so let's get to the news right about now. And I would still have to adjust the chat here a bit. I guess that's good enough. All right. What should I press? This one, this button. God damn it. Okay, Trump is apparently still alive. There were some rumors, speculation, call it what you will, last weekend because he sort of disappeared. He canceled his events and stuff, and there was no show for like 3 days. But he was apparently spotted like yesterday or something in a golf course with his grandkids. So yeah, anyways, here Red Pill USA says President Trump's gone dark. Schedule wiped through the weekend. Vice President J.D. Vance, in a bold statement, declared he's ready to step in if tragedy strikes, amplifying concerns. Visible bruising on Trump's hands, noted repeatedly in recent photos, has only been deepened the unease. Is there more to Trump's health than the public has been told? Um, so yeah, it just shows that he's has no public event scheduled. But yeah, now he's supposedly been spotted in a golf course, so he appears to be alive. And here's the Trump cautious crazy death rumors. Why is it crazy? Like this is like the lady does protest too much. Like yeah, I don't think he's dead, and I didn't think he was dead last weekend, but I do think it means something that he suddenly seemed to disappear for a few days. So yeah, he was supposedly spotted here. Yeah, golfing in Virginia with grandkids. And of course, it could be a double ganger, like he used to be a guest on WWE, and they sometimes had like a double gangers of Hulk Hogan and stuff. So it is possible. Of course, Saddam Hussein had double gangers, so it's possible if something did happen to Trump and they don't want to tell the truth. It's possible. So this technically doesn't prove it. Like I'm still not saying anything untoward happened to him, but theoretically speaking, it is possible. And yeah, it was apparently even trending that he's dead. Trump died, but I didn't see this trending. But I guess I'm not in America, so rock, is this true? I think this is profound. Mm. Anyways, so yeah, his schedule was cancelled, and rumor has it they are getting ready to install Palantir President J.D. Vance. But this site, that's not how you spell Palantir. Come on, man. And yeah, White House is closed to the public for the entire month of September due to construction. So yeah, it's a bit sus the timing. Like it genuinely could just be a coincidence and all that, but maybe not. Um, and well, this isn't related to Trump, but it's just a very strange facts, support alleged facts about J.D. Vance. So born as James Donald Bowman, Grew up in the suburbs of Middleton, Ohio. Not poor at all. Went to Yale. Changed name to David. Changed name again to Jimmy Hamill. Changed name to J.D. Vance 10 years ago when he married his wife. Yeah, it's a bit sus. Like, why would he do it? Like, is it just like, oh, I don't like my name? It's like, oh, I still don't like it. Like, if that's is possible, that's the reason. But I wouldn't want somebody like that as my president, who is so, I don't know, indecisive. Especially like, okay, Bowman is a bit a dull last name, but it's, his James Donald Bowman isn't like an awful name or anything. Perhaps one theory is like there are allegations that the elites are into numerology, and if James Donald Bowman doesn't have good numerology, but with David it would. Well, I'm not gonna look into it, but I just came up with a theory of my own because in the games like Trails in the Sky, like Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, there is a village called Hamel. So maybe I don't know when he named it Jimmy Hamill. Was it before or after the game came out? But maybe he's a big Trails in the Sky fan, and that's why he changed his last name to Hamill. That's possible. I'm gonna go with that until under and further evidence to prove me otherwise. But yeah, it is like genuine. Like why would somebody need to change their name so many times? Like, is it like he was in witness protection or something, or I don't know. Did he have some debtors, or he had committed some crimes under this name, so he tried to change his identity? Was he hiding from somebody? It, it is weird if this is true. Like, this is just I've seen these other accounts floating this around, but nobody's. There's no you know was the note, community note or anything like that. So I assume it's true. Anyways, and here is well, Trump admin revokes Palestinian officials' visas before upcoming UN General Assembly. They must consistently repudiate terrorism, including October 7 massacre. So basically, they don't allow Palestinian officials to, I guess, join the UN Assembly because of something. Like, once again, the only way to interpret this is to say that America is a Israel, like a puppet state of Israel. There's no other way around it. Like, why else? Because it's not like Palestinians did 9/11 or something, or they didn't do October 7 massacre, or whatever happened there. It wasn't against Americans. So why does America care so much about it? But this is funny. Trump administration reaffirms commitment to not reward terrorism and revokes visas of Palestinian officials ahead of Unga Bunga, Unga. But yeah, Marco Rubio is denying revoking visas from members of the Palestine Liberation Organization and the Palestinian Authority ahead of the upcoming United Nations General Assembly. So yeah, puppet. But this is interesting. I'm not sure when Trump truth this, but if it's just a screenshot, it could be fake, but I assume it's real. So anyways, George Soros and his wonderful radical left son should be charged with RICO because of their support of violent protest and much more. All throughout the United States of America, we're not going to allow these lunatics to rip apart America anymore. We're never giving it so much as a chance to breathe and be free. Soros, is it like these words in all caps? Is it like some code? Like, of course, RICO is an acronym or something, but like these. So, anyways, Soros and his group of psychopaths have caused great damage to our country. This includes the crazy West Coast friends. Be careful, that we're watching you. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Like, at least this is something I sort of agree with, but he's the president. He should actually then do something about it instead of saying, like, uh, making blustering about it. He could actually do, like, people like you and me, we can just complain about this on the internet. We don't have much power, but he should have some pull. And this is also sort of interesting. Trump wants to know whether the mass injection of mRNA shots was brilliant or not, asks Pfizer to show the public the great numbers they showed him. It is very important that drug companies justify the success of their various COVID drugs. Many people think they are a miracle that saved millions of lives. Others disagree with CDC. So this is different because so far, as far as I know, Trump has just been praising Operation Warp Speed and all that stuff. But now he's at least acknowledging that there are different differing opinions. That's the word. With CDC being ripped apart over this question, I want the answer and I want it now. I have been shown information from Pfizer and others that is extraordinary, but they never seem to show these results to the public. Why not? They go off to the next hunt and let everyone rip themselves apart, including Bobby Kennedy and JR and CDC, trying to figure out the success or failure of the drug company's COVID work. They show me great numbers and results, but they don't seem to be showing them to many others. I want them to show them now to CDC, the public, and clear up the mess one way or the other. I hope Operation Warp Speed was as brilliant as many say it was. If not, we all want to know about it and why. Thank you for your attention to this very important matter. President Donald J. Trump. So this is actually something very promising. Like, of course, like the if the drug companies don't show what he's asking them, he should then demand to take some sort of legal action, or just send in the feds or the national guard or something if they're not if they don't produce some data soon. So yeah, I just hope that this is actually not just words from Donald Trump but actual action. So that would be very nice. But yeah, here's Trump calls his Operation Warp Speed one of the greatest achievements ever in politics or the military, or in the military, because it was almost a military procedure. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I wouldn't call it almost a military procedure. It probably was a military procedure, which was not good. It's a military procedure against his own people and the peoples of most of the Western world and other countries as well. Oh yeah, this is just you. Trump blocks the Palestinian president on officials from attending UN General Assembly in New York next month. But a joke, this though. But this RFK says the 60 largest tech companies will permit Americans to access their personal health data monetized without permission for years. You're going to be able to see by next year all of your health records on your cell phone. Like, I fucking hate this. That everything is supposed to be on your phone. Like, you can use it to pay for stuff, and like, I really hope like there's gonna be like some scandal of terrorism or friggin' criminal organizations stealing or hacking people's phones and taking their money, because I just don't see it as a good alternative that they want you to have everything on your phone. And of course, this whole idea sounds very Orwellian and doesn't sound very promising from RFK, unless he's saying it like and it's a bad thing. Oh yeah, and there's this. Cash Patel's girlfriend Alexis Wilkins has sued Kyle Seraphin, don't know who he is, the ex FBI podcaster, accusing her of being a Mossad honeypot. Jake Shield says this is the most Jewish thing I've ever seen, and I said something like, "This is just what Mossad GF would do, or what you would expect one of them to do." Oh yeah, and then there's this from RFK Jr. Nicotine does not cause cancer. Says pouches are safest, vape second best instead of cigarettes. Nicotine itself does not cause cancer. There's no evidence that it's carcinogenic. So why have we told the opposite for decades? So I don't know if he's correct, but like my gut instinct says that he's probably right, because like My understanding is that why the reason why cigarettes, commercial kind of cigarettes we have are bad because of some additional substances. That it's not really tobacco that's so bad for you, but some other additives. What's this? Anyone else getting tired of winning? So drop an N. Shiloh Hendricks straight to jail. Well, yeah, she's being prosecuted or something. And burn the flag straight to jail. Have sex with children straight to Israel. Yeah, this guy, the Israeli pedo who was arrested and sent straight to Israel a couple of weeks ago. All right, but before we go to the next story, I still want to discuss the Trump's disappearance stuff because I still think it's a bit sus. Like, maybe he did have health issues, but probably not dead. Or, since he was spotted, like, before I even saw the news that he was spotted in the golf course with his grandkids, I was thinking, like, it's possible that his job, of course, is very stressful, so perhaps he was having a burnout or something, and he wanted to take a break of a few days. That's possible. So, and it it's not a big news, I guess, but it does imply that he might have some issues with his health. And there was the case like just few weeks ago that they announced that he had some health issues. What was it called? Something chronic venous insufficiency my brain is CVI, is insufficient chronic in his veins or something. So I don't know what it is. So it's causing swelling and in the legs and ankles and stuff. Like maybe he's suffering from that more than they announced, or whatever, or there might be some national security reasons why Trump had to disappear. Maybe there was something that he had to drop everything else and deal with it. Something to do with, or maybe the Stargate was activated for offload activation, and then there was a new alien species that he had to like negotiate a treaty with them, or whatever. Or so it is. I still think it's significant that he was gone, but like not necessarily doesn't mean that if somebody doesn't show in public himself in public in a few days that he's dead. But something might have happened that's relevant or interesting if we were to hear about it. But anyways, let's move on. So Chinese man steals xAI data and sells to OpenAI. So this is poetic justice, this whole story. So yeah, Elon fires the last white engineer. 6 weeks later, Chinaman leaks the entire code base. So yeah, so it has been revealed that former XAA engineer who stole the company's entire code base and gave the data to OpenAI is a Chinese national with a passport issued by People's Republic of China. When is it time to kick them all out? Like yeah, and Trump, of course, I think he already like few months ago, I think I reported about it, that he said like he made a deal with China that he would be sending like allowing 1 million Chinese students in America, and then it was reduced to like 600,000, and now I think the last I heard, probably after he heard about this stuff, was that no, he's not gonna accept them. But like whenever I hear stuff like this, I'm reminded of something that happened in Finland like 20 years ago or something. Like there was some polytechnic somewhere in Finland, and there was some Chinese guy who apparently did some espionage and stuff, and it was in the news back in the day. And there's many Chinese, and I met many Chinese, and most of them aren't spies or anything like that, but some of them are. So are you gonna compromise your national security just so you don't get called racist? And yeah, defendant is a Chinese national. But I just wonder, like, how is open AI like legally complicit? Like, or it should be a crime, right? Like, of course, if this guy is in China, I don't think they're probably not gonna extradite him to the United States to stand trial. But surely, like xAI, like if they have stolen data, this somehow they can be forced to, not use it and give it back, or whatever. Sure, how it all works out. So yeah, Elon Musk says the reason I'm in America along with, oh yeah, this is from last December. Was it Christmas? No, no, this is the year. Okay, it's just a few days after Christmas. Yeah, so the reason I'm in America, along with so many critical people who built SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies that made America strong, is because of H-1B visas. And take a big step back and fuck yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue. The likes of you cannot, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, this is beautiful. He got totally like humbled by this. So yeah, here Elon Musk confirms XAI engineer joined OpenAI and uploaded xAI's entire code base. The engineer had earlier sold $7 million worth of his xAI stock before leaving, now facing a lawsuit for stealing Grok's trade secrets. Yeah, here. He accepted an offer at OpenAI, then uploaded our entire code base. So this makes it seem that OpenAI sort of goaded him to do this scummy thing. But yeah, this is what you get when you just hire mercenaries. That's what the H-1B visa stuff is like, even on the most ideal level. That you just hire the best mercenaries, but like yeah, somebody made him a better deal, so why shouldn't he take it? Unless of course what he did is probably illegal, but like if he's Chinese and goes to China, maybe he can get away with it. I don't really know about all this legal mumbo jumbo in relating to issues like this. And yeah, one of Elon's H-1B workers uploaded excess AI code to OpenAI, then ran away with $7 million from selling stock. Fell for it again award. Yeah. Like, hey, and maybe Elon Musk will actually learn about this incident. So, like, maybe he will admit he was wrong. But then it would be good. Like, I don't want to shit on the guy just for shitting, but if he deserves it, then yes, he should be, mocked and laughed, because he said he was gonna go to war, and then the war beat him in the ass clearly, or his soldiers rather. Oh yeah, and now there's this. President Trump will not let in 600,000 more Chinese students. No increase in student visas from China per White House. So yeah, this probably related to this stuff, but might maybe other reasons behind it as well. All right. But yeah, I just you know, well, it's also nice to be sort of that. In addition to this H-1B visa stuff, it's nice to see that how scummy these AI companies are in this case. At least apparently, OpenAI is scummy, and Elon Musk have been accusing them of copying them or stealing their stuff for a while. So it's if it's true, then it's good that it becomes public. That and but what did Trump sign something that the government cannot do anything for 5 years or something within 5 years to limit or regulate the AI stuff? But surely, if they commit criminal acts, they can do something. But in the end, I don't really care uh, who which AI company comes on top, as long as if we can use the AI in a beneficial manner instead of harmful manner. So I don't know. Well, I guess I still trust xAI more than OpenAI, but marginally more, maybe. I don't know if I should though. Yeah, but let's move on. So there was the bang bang incident in Minnesota in a church, Catholic church, and of course there's all sorts of opinions on the matter. So here, Foundering says they literally have released zero footage of, or any evidence at all that shooting happened at the church in Minnesota, and yet people overwhelmingly believe the official narrative and are attacking anyone who asks very basic questions. Are we cooked? I really hate this cooked. Nowadays, like in the past, I don't know, 6 months, every every third cent or every third tweet has to have the word cooked. I really hate this new lingo. It's like, I don't know, what does it mean exactly? I can, ascertain, but whatever. Old man yells at cloud, but I will have fucking yell at clouds. But anyways, the so yeah, I haven't seen the footage either, but I can't say like maybe some this was a few days ago, so maybe some more footage has appeared since then. But it's still a good point because you shouldn't trust anything the media says at face value. Like they will always try to lie or and of course it goes also for random people on Twitter as well. They also have their agendas and stuff. And then there's the mom of the alleged shooter. So she, as they said, this bitch is on the run. She did something. So revealed mom of Minneapolis shooter made panicked dash for airport hours before FBI raided her condo. Of course, it could be that they framed her kid or something, or and something like that. Like it doesn't necessarily mean she's guilty, but the whole thing is very sus on many levels. And okay, the guy had written on his gun, "Burn Israel and Israel must fall" on his rifle. This is terrorism. And hey, I also agree with at least Israel must fall, Israel del Endayest. I certainly agree with the sentiment, but I don't know how shooting a bunch of Catholics is gonna like help the cause if you want to, harm Israel. That's just gonna benefit Israel. So that's yeah. And yeah, like Leonardo Joni here says, and yet he attacked a church, not a synagogue. How curious. Yeah, this is sort of like the Christchurch shooting back in the day, and also I thought that stuff was sort of sus. He also had written random stuff on his gun, and he says, "What 6 million wasn't enough? What did he sell something really expensive, and he, was cost paid 6 million, and he wanted more?" So yeah, evidence is emerging of the suspected shooter in Minneapolis appears to be psychotic, manic 22-year-old young man, possibly trans, left an 11-minute manifesto video on YouTube just hours before the shooting happened. The video has been taken down, blah blah blah. So Asha Logos here says, so a trans, possibly Jewish Satanist pride flag waving thing kills a bunch of white Christians, and we are to believe 6 million wasn't enough would be scrawled on the gun. How does any of this make sense? It all feels so lazy and so insultingly stupid. Yes, like, you know, I don't know what happened. I don't claim to know, but I will not, I know that the media won't be telling you the truth. They might give you part of the truth, but they will also obfuscate part of the truth. Um, Trans Minneapolis shooter Robin Westman mused about slaughtering filthy Zionist Jews in Sikh journal before deadly Catholic school massacre. Like, just the way this article is, the title is worded, it just makes it sound like the worst thing was that he mused about slaughtering Jews, but why maybe he did, but he actually killed Catholics. At least that's what we are told. That's the worst crime. If you're a moral human being, of course, if you're a Z guy, then you're not. So yeah, why did he attack a Catholic school? Yeah, it may. maybe he was a bit daft. He didn't know the difference between a Star of David and a cross. Maybe that's what happened. So yeah, the transgender annunciation school shooter Robin Westman uploaded a manifesto video on YouTube before his attack. Now I'm not gonna read this stuff, and it has been taken down. And Minnesota transgender killer's father has worked for 29 years as a top-level CIA DoD contractor, so Department of Defense contractor. So yeah, it sounds like a very much like a false flag or something like that. If this claim is true that this father indeed was this kind of person, and also I want to show something because this is very sad. Let's see. Yes. So the same post, because earlier was it yesterday, I happened to be browsing Twitter using a VPN. I had it set from Finland. So I got this instead, that, age restricted adult content. And when I clicked show, it asked for me to verify my age. So Finland is also infected. At last I checked, we've never been part of the British Empire. So why does Finland? Because I live in Hong Kong, and look, here in Hong Kong we actually have some degree of freedom, and it's, this is just a picture of two people. Why is it age restricted? This is the picture that's blocked behind doxing yourself in Finland. Presumably, all of EU. Like, what the fuck is going on? This is not violent. This is not like, okay, this person is ugly. I'm not sure if it's the same person or is this the dad? But this should be the shooter or the alleged shooter. So yeah, why is this? Um, you know, why can't you view this picture? This isn't anything harmful, anything that you have to be 18 years old to see. Like, what the fuck is going on? All right. Anyways, so yeah, now the mother of the Minneapolis Catholic school shooter has hired a criminal defense attorney. Per Fox, she hasn't been cooperating with police. Something's up. The mother allowed her mentally ill to worsen his condition. It's possible, or hey, maybe he was framed, and she's worried that she's gonna be. I don't know. Like, it's sus, anyways. Like, it's not just like sure, it is very. There's a good chance that she's also done something bad, but you know, people like to focus on hating this guy, but we don't know if he even did it. We don't know, like, let's just see, death certificates from the shooting, because I remember in Sandy Hook, I've never seen them produced of all the people that are told to have died there. Like, people died, surely there's death certificates, right? Yeah, and then there's this. The shooter drew a picture of himself, but the reflection in the mirror looks like Moloch. And so yeah, this, yeah. So I don't know, like, it's possible he was some schizo, demonically possessed guy, or maybe this is just to make, because he's trans and now he's there implying he's satanic. This could be just a psyop to make right wingers more likely just to blame the guy, because it fits the narrative of most right wingers that look, these trans people are Satanists and they're evil, so of course, and they shoot Catholics so they don't look deeper, that perhaps that isn't the whole story. Okay, I don't mean to imply that trans Satanists aren't bad people and we should watch out for them, but maybe they just it seems a bit too convenient of a bad guy, like back 10 years ago, whenever there was that Dylan Storm Roof back in the day, it was all about alt-right, and of course it was like this he shot some church with black people in it, or something, and of course it's like a white supremacist, and they make the appropriate bad guys for the current political climate, so people wouldn't look beyond it, and they just they buy the narrative. The god choose sacrifice too, so is that what he's written here? There was some translation like some Russian or Ukrainian or whatever. I don't know. Well, it doesn't really matter because I think it's sort of distraction. I was this. So yeah, Robin Westman claims he was tired of being trans. I wish I never brainwashed myself. And so his solution was going to a Catholic church with a gun. Yeah, but oh yeah, and then of course this. So Jewish voices on X, including Representative Randy Fine and Laura Loomer, suggested that the Minneapolis shooting of Catholic school children during Mass was primarily about anti-Israel sentiment. So yeah, this misfit patriot, a complete bundle of sticks. The shooter has been confirmed to be trans, anti-Trump, anti-Israel. MDB. The motive is not clear at this time. Yes, anti-Israel. That's why he shoots. Like, was he anti-Vatican? Maybe that's more relevant here. And we were devastated to learn about the attack in Minneapolis, October 7th. It was Tuesday, targeted to this Christian school. Wait, having served to the October 7th, it was Tuesday, so the day. That was the Palestinians allegedly, and now it's I don't think this trans Satanist alleged shooter that he was a Palestinian or Muslim or anything like that. So it's completely off his rocker. This congressman here. Um, wow, the shooter in Minnesota district who just shot up Catholic school was a Trump hater, Jew hater, and appears to be a supporter of the Palestinian Islamic movement. Um, so yeah, they're trying to uh, like bring this like associate these things together. Like if you have issues with Israel, then or you support Palestine in the matter that you're like this crazy random shooter Satanist. Like this is like the oldest trick in the book. I hope people are wise to this game already. Yeah, and she says people need to understand that Israel haters like the shooter today in Minnesota don't just hate Jews; they hate Christians, Catholics, and Hindus too. Well, he seems to hate Catholics the most. It's not hard to figure out why the shooter today opened fire on Catholic school and had pro-Holocaust, anti-Indian, pro-Islamic phrases on his gun. So okay, are Christians, Catholics, Hindus, and Jews? They are now the I don't know power block or something, according to these people. Pro-Palestinian terrorism strikes again in the U.S. soil. 3 months ago, they executed two Jews in Washington, D.C. 2 months ago, they firebombed the vigil of Jews in Colorado. Today, they shot up a church full of Christian children. How is it pro-Palestine? These people, come on. Uh, not gonna say anything I would regret. I wanna say something I would regret, but then I would regret it. Israeli Minister on Foreign Affairs Gideon Saar, don't redeem Saar, on the Catholic school shootings. Israel stands in solidarity with the U.S. and the Catholic community. So yeah, horrified by the tragic shooting at Annunciation Catholic School Church in Minneapolis. It has the dumbest name ever. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families of the victims and with the injured. Israel stands with in solidarity with the U.S. and the Catholic community. Like when he puts it like that, the only like my initial impression is that it's he had something to do with it. That's just my impression. Like the wording and something like it's almost like a threat or something. So you're foundering asking, is there surveillance footage of the shooter? Is there a picture of the body? Are there any images, videos at all? Yeah, like, are there? Like, I can't say I've scraped the internet for all of that stuff. Maybe there are. Maybe foundering didn't look enough either. But it's like, these are questions that should be asked whenever stuff like this happens. Oh yeah, there's this dad who lost his son allegedly in the event. It's
Today,
just
a coward decided to take our 8-year-old son Fletcher away from us. Because of their actions, we will never be allowed to hold him, talk to him, play with him, and watch him grow into the wonderful young man he was on the path to becoming. Fletcher loved his family, friends, fishing, cooking, and any sport that he was allowed to play. While the hole in our hearts and lives will never be filled,
yeah. I'm not gonna show anymore. But honestly, my honest reaction is that he doesn't look like he's somebody who just lost his son. He doesn't seem to be. He looks like he's acting to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but he doesn't look like it. Like, I've in the recent years I've lost some relatives and stuff, and like I've it hurts like hell, and I don't see the pain in him. Like, maybe he's just a psychopath, and he actually lost his son. But I, well, I think there's something wrong with this guy at least. And yeah, Foundering says Robbie Parker 2.0, exactly like in Sandy Hook. We have a picture of, yeah, here he is. If you haven't seen the video of this guy who just lost his kid in Sandy Hook, allegedly, and he was, laughing in front of the camera before, getting into character, and well, you should still be able to find it on YouTube unless it's been scrubbed. Robbie Parker, Sandy Hook, you should, yeah, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. What's this? Okay, that's a new thing. Okay, different story. Okay, let's go there then. So yeah, I don't claim to know what exactly happened in the Catholic Church in Minnesota, but it's just, yeah, I'm not buying the official story, whatever it is. You're free to do so if you want, but like, doesn't strike me as genuine in some respects. Okay, but anyways, Epstein and pals. We have some more Epstein stuff, updates, whatever. So what's this? A major leak of 100,000 emails from former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak shows he and Jeffrey Epstein discussed meeting with Palantir founder Peter Thiel, trying to arrange it so the security guys will not come with us to the island. We're only just told that Jeffrey Epstein doesn't have any ties to any intelligence agency. That is bullshit, wasn't it? Just Ghislaine Maxwell said it last week. But according to these emails, if they're genuine, that's not true. So from Ehud Barak to Jeffrey Epstein, looks legit enough. Of course, could be fake and stuff, but it's then hopefully somebody would point it out. So Peter Thiel could be very interesting. I'm flying to Europe next time. Best blah blah blah. EB, so Ehud Barak. So Jeffrey Epstein wrote, I have Peter Thiel on 19th in New York, if you like, as well as the former president of the Maldives. Don't know who that is. Going to meet, so Ehud Barak said, going to meet him for dinner tomorrow. He has to bring another person with him. Don't know who, why. Once met I met him once in Davos some 2 years ago, so that's the WEF stuff, right? Probably he doesn't even recall. So this is, yeah, 2014. Doesn't even recall it. Let's see. I was told by the host of the dinner that we will probably spend it talking about just geopolitics. His first date, I think, has a huge potential to accelerate things. The sheer reputation he got. No way, it's a waste of time. SIC, sick. That's not how. That's the wrong kind of waste. That's I'm going to will see it. Blah blah blah. I googled Peter Thiel. Seems to be a really interesting, smart, and active character. Did you meet him already? Blah blah blah. So from Jeffrey to Hipper, Peter Thiel can come to dinner on the 9th. Can you stay until then? All right. Yeah. Unless these are fake, does imply that Peter Thiel as well has something, sort of questionable business with Jeffrey Epstein. Leaked emails show that in May 2014, Epstein invited former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak to meet with Peter Thiel, co-founder of Palantir Technologies, to discuss geopolitics and surveillance technology. And I guess I should address that point of Palantir, because it's from Lord of the Rings, the orb that Saruman uses to spy on people, like this crystal ball basically that you can see elsewhere, and is always implied that it's evil, or at least it's corruptive and stuff, like you found a company based on something evil, like I don't know, the devil's pitchfork or something. It's a bit sus, unless it's you're actually doing something edgy, like forming a heavy metal band or something. It's already a bit sus. Anyways, in early June of that year, Barack wrote to Epstein, "Thanks, call you after the meeting," mentioned plans to sit down with Peter Thiel's Valar Ventures. Okay, Valar is also from Lord of the Rings. I guess Thiel really likes Lord of the Rings then. Around the same time, Barack was focused on Reportee, later rebranded as Carbine, an Israeli emergency response company that collects real-time video, audio, location, and privacy data. He served as the chairman of Carbine's board and was listed as an early investor in 2015. Epstein helped contribute to Barack's initial investment. 2016 emails to Epstein and Barack additionally show Valar Ventures' Andrew McCormack eager to learn more about Carbine. From 2015 to 16, Epstein invested $40 million in Thiel's Valar Ventures, which has since ballooned to $170 million. In 2018, Thiel's Founders Fund participated in 15 million Series B funding round for Carbine. All right. Uh-huh. Hmm. So yeah, and is this guy? It looks sort of like he has some wax mask or something. Like, is this guy human? Really? This is some of the same emails I already read. Yeah. Okay. Um, I'm really starting to think that some of these people aren't human. Don't know what they are exactly, but like, because certainly, like, symbolically they're not human, like they don't have the human conscience and decency that most people have, at least to some degree, but perhaps it goes deeper than that. Anyways, and JD Vance just claimed that there's no Epstein client list and blamed Biden for the scandal going public. Let that sink in.
Jeffrey Epstein. Now that you're in power, you say that there is no client list. Why do you think it is that so many of your own supporters don't believe you?
Well, I think what the president has said, first of all, is he's told the Department of Justice to do full transparency here, to release what we have.
I don't really want to listen to this. It's like, but yeah, never getting an Epstein list or prosecution. So, and it doesn't really matter if the Epstein list, like if there was the client list that Epstein himself wrote down, but there should be a, the FBI or whatever, if they really cared, they should be able to find out who were this, his collaborators in criminal activities with Jeffrey Epstein, and write a list and then go arrest them. But of course, I don't think they're actually trying to do that. And Megatron here says documents emerged for the first time showing Epstein was in coordination with Israel, a massive leak of former Israeli Ehud Barak emails. So yeah, it's basically the same stuff already read. Former FBI Director Robert Mueller, who led the Russia investigation into Trump's 2016 campaign, was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease and cannot comply with the congressional subpoena about Jeffrey Epstein investigation. How convenient. Yeah, everybody's saying it's so convenient, including myself. A coincidence, yes. Yeah, and doesn't Parkinson's, yeah, it means basically you're, shaking sort of. It doesn't mean that you're like mentally retarded, right? Yeah, I don't know. What's this? Oh, okay. This is next news already. All right. So yeah, because like recently I've seen some whitewashing over Epstein and stuff like, oh, maybe he wasn't as bad or something like, he didn't have intelligence assets, but there seems to be evidence showing that he had his finger in many different kinds of pies. Double entendre, maybe intended, maybe not. I don't know. All right, let's go to Europe. Sharia in Deutschland and some other German news. So yeah, over 10 years ago, they blatantly fucking told you what they were doing. So yeah, new Europeans, look here, these lovely Muslim people, and so yeah, Muslim migrants in Germany. When we become the majority, we will take over Germany by force. German laws will be replaced by Sharia law. If anyone stands against us, we will attack them. Christians and Jews will have to convert or leave. So yeah, and in Austria, I reported, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Not sure, that in Austria, some court said that some parts of Sharia law are already allowed, that it's recognized as legit, which is not good. And then there's this. This is the 16-year-old girl that was pushed in front of a train by a 31-year-old Iraqi asylum seeker in Germany. Das Protokoll einer Verduschung. Don't know what is Verduschung. Liana Kay was a 16-year-old girl who started a dental assistant apprenticeship in August 1st, 2025. Died on August 11, 2025, after a 31-year-old Iraqi immigrant pushed her in front of a train at Friedland train station, Lower Saxony, Germany. Yeah. Well, the British like to say, at least I'm not speaking German, and soon Germans won't be speaking German either, or they're gonna be speaking German like double proudly, depending on which way they're gonna go. But yeah, just, Germans should really let go of their guilt. Let's just put it that way. Unemployment in Germany has surged past 3 million for the first time in a decade. So yeah, the government is doing a fine job there. And of course, they need more immigrants to, fix the unemployment. I mean, raise it to 4 million. And this is interesting. The AfD, the Alternative für Deutschland party, has recorded 6 deaths among its politicians within a short period of time in the run up to the upcoming local elections in North Rhine Westphalia, Germany. Uh, so, yeah. In the local election campaign, the AfD has recorded 2 more deaths in addition to the 4 already reported. 2 reserve list candidates have also died, according to Politico. The state deputy leader announces an investigation into the cases. I think I know who is responsible. Yeah, and I guess they are like, they're not murders like obviously like their, sudden illnesses and stuff like that. But come on, that's a bit much. Like three or something was like, but this is a bit too blatant. I just hope that Germans will pay attention and not don't let this fly. That they will bring the whoever is responsible to justice. And yeah, and yeah, Germany economist Thomas Wehrhaus finds 16,000 euros. It's too difficult to count the 100 there as well for sarcastic ex posts. A German economist is being fined 16k euro for sarcasm. Thomas Wehrhaus mocked a Green Party politician, state journalist, and a serial complainer on X, calling them things like drought-brained and nincompoop. Oh my God! You call somebody a nincompoop? How dare you bring him to jail? Come on, this is a fucking joke. Europe is just such a fucking joke. Like, come on, man. Start, polishing those jackboots because not boots because like come on, this is a fucking joke. Each post triggered a criminal investigation. Why? Because in Germany you can still be prosecuted under insult law if someone takes offense and fills out the right form. So yeah, I said I thought the defeat of Nazism was supposed to end this kind of stuff. Like yeah, I've been always told that this is the kind of stuff that happened in Nazi Germany, but apparently it still happens, and I wonder whether it actually happened in Nazi Germany either. What's this? Oh, okay, that's not. But there's something I wanted to still say about. I get. Oh yeah, yeah. Sounds like Mexico. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Because yeah, some many people have pointed out that Mexico had similar stuff happen before their election, their presidential election, when a woman who just happens to be Jewish, no coincidence there. I mean, just a coincidence. That's what I mean. Happened to become their president. But was it like 15 or 50 or something? Like a enormous number of people died, and there was no like question about it that many of them were murdered. But I guess it had nothing to do with the presidential election or that with the president. Certainly she had nothing to do with it. So yeah, do people care? Like regular people about this stuff? Or just like, oh well, there's nothing I can do. Like, yeah, I cannot really do anything about stuff like that either directly, but at least I can be aware and try to make others aware and be pissed about it. At least that's the least thing you should be pissed. I'm mad as hell. I'm not gonna take it anymore of that stuff from the network. All right. And Japan getting sick of immigration, allegedly. At least they should, hopefully. Like some of this could be hopium, but yeah, protests have erupted across multiple locations in Japan. Revolution is inevitable regarding immigration, I believe. At least that's yeah. Thousands of locals marched in Osaka yesterday demanding an end to immigration. Yeah, so that's good. Yeah, lots of Japanese flags. What does it say? Oh, damn it. Let's go back. Can I read it? Nihon o America ni. Maybe it's like don't change Japan to, or don't make it into America or something like that. I can't see it clearly and don't know if I could read this particular kanji if I could see it properly. But so yeah, I guess. Uh, Okay. Authorities estimate crowd exceeding 10,000 gathered outside PM's office yesterday evening for an organized protest. So yeah, it's good. Like, of course, to change situation, you have to do more than protest. But I think it could be a good start. And at least like if they are like if let's say the majority of people support getting rid of these especially harmful immigrants. That's a good thing, because like in many European countries, people who have issues with mass immigration at least feel like a minority, because it at least seem because the mass media makes it seem like you're a weird, you know, uh, in the like you're a weirdo and in a minority if you oppose many of the policies. But like if it's very popular, that's positive, like positive trend. But anyways, so Japanese high school girl begs the government to stop importing third world migrants. You can hear her cry. She's terrified and shaking in fear that Japan is becoming the next Europe.
今日、怖い。初めてデモに来ました。怖い。
Okay, she does sound
こうしてデモに来なければならない。若い子たちはまだ少ないですけど、私はもう本当に石破さんのせいで怖くてたまりません。
Okay. I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but yeah, it's good that the youth, because with all this, in the Western world, we've heard all about this. The youth, they oppose global warming and they want this or that and stuff. But it's like this seems more genuine. Like you're just puppets doing what the NGOs and the corporations and all that want. This seems, at least hopefully, this is more genuine. Um, okay, and somebody is definitely spending money in Japan to push Japan destroying policies, says Grums and Chibi Reviews. I did not expect to wake up to this. Elon Musk release on our side for fighting for anime and manga. So this guy who is Zengo. Yesterday in Japan, a famous lawyer made a statement that anime and manga should conform to global standards, sparking a debate. Thank you so much for the so many comments in response, such as overseas fans don't want that either, and that's the path to destroying culture. Yeah, and even Elon Musk shamed on that lawyer who is paying him to push that. And I'm just gonna say it's a Middle Eastern country, and it's not Qatar or people associated with that country. There's this diversity, different colors of Play-Doh and multiculturalism, one brown block. Yeah, that's what it is. Because exactly, like this is the kind of diversity. I genuinely support diversity, that there are many cultures and languages and races in the world, and religions. I think that's a wonderful thing, and especially when those different kinds of cultures and stuff can interact with each other, um, you know, con- consensually. But like the mass immigration in the last decade, or last 2 decades, more like, it hasn't been really consensual, nor have the wars in the Middle East haven't been that consensual either, that created lots of immigration. And this image has been trending all over Japan Twitter. So World War I and World War II, plane dropping bombs, and this World War III is so this is a warplane, and this is more like a passenger plane with a curious kind of nose, dropping these sort of dark-skinned people here. It's very appropriate meme, I believe. All right, but that's about Japan. So I really do hope that Japan is, getting its shit together. Well, I hope same for Europe, but like maybe Japan isn't so far gone. Like maybe they can unfuck themselves faster. I don't know. Maybe Europe is also doing that, but like as somebody who spent most of my life in Europe, I'm a bit pessimistic. Not saying I'm completely black pilled, but I am angry and pissed off and all that stuff. But anyways, but now is the most pointless news ever in the history of the world. That, like, why did this become global news? And I have to mention it not because of the news itself, but because many Twitter accounts reported on this. So, during a road rage incident, a crazy white woman was caught on camera making a slanty-eyed gesture at an Asian driver at Bellevue, visit Washington, make her famous. Okay, fine.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50.
So, like, who gives a fuck? And yeah, Tony Moon, the rooftop Korean, says, I would have laughed and reciprocated, then we'd be laughing together. We got to celebrate our differences. Yeah, exactly. Like, whatever. Like, or maybe you got, flipper off, whatever. Like, this is, like, there are some people who genuinely are more angered or triggered by something like this than, all the wars going on in Israel, or jabs killing your people, or the pedos in your government molesting children every day. Like, nope, that's whatever. But this is truly triggering to some people. Anyways, and then just some good old tyranny stuff. Let's have a look. What kind of tyranny stuff we have here. So, oh yeah, Google is locking down Android starting September 2026. So 1 year later, every app, even outside the Play Store, must come with from a verified developer. No more anonymous side loads. No quick comebacks for malware gangs. So side load just means that programs you install outside of the App Store. So first up, Brazil, Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand. So I really hope somebody sues them or makes like a competitor. Like, for years I'd be like, banging my head against the wall that I wish there was an alternative in, smartphones to Google or iPhone or Apple, because I don't really like either. I use Android, but I don't know. Do I just have to stop using a friggin' smartphone altogether? Because I don't use a great deal of quote unquote silos, but I do use some. And that's like, dude, why do they have that right? Because, what's his name? Louis Rossman made a video about this as well, and he said, like, you should call them silos, because that, a cell phone, a smartphone is actually a computer, and it's basically saying that they're claiming that you cannot install programs except those approved by the company that made the phone or the computer. Like, they're claiming that you can only um, install approved software, and that's, of course, when it came to if it comes to computers, it's ridiculous. But for some reason in cell phones it's considered as the norm, which is insane. But yeah, Google is locking down Android, blah blah blah. So must come from verified developers. So yeah, they are locking down Android. Why does everybody say locking down? Like, somebody came out this article and now everybody's saying locking down. Or is it some normal phrase when it comes to this? Anyways, this will 100% make it easier for the government to monitor and control things. All this happening in the last month is coordinated. Yeah. But it's not just for the government, for the corporations. Like, there's no, like, at the top there's no difference between government and corporate. They're there to screw you over. Demonic entities. That's my take on this. They are demonic entities. Um, and I don't know how literally I mean it, but I do mean it. And yeah, so this small change, not a small change, might kill emulation on Android phones next year. So yeah, you may soon lose access to popular emulators of PS2, PS3, and Switch or more. I, I'm triggered by this. If it means, like, you cannot install any program you want, why is it only PS2 and PS? Because a few months ago, I was like, I had to commute for long distances and stuff like that. I should play something on my phone, and then should I like install some Chinese gotcha waifu crap because I don't know what to play with the phone. I normally don't play with the phone. Then I realized, wait a minute, you can install emulators, and I installed you know a Game Boy Advance emulator to play some Final Fantasy Tactics and Fire Emblem and stuff. So it's like, why is it only PlayStation 2 and 3? This is so like weird. Like you can emulate whatever. I guess you can emulate Commodore 64 if you want. I don't know. It's just triggering like the assumptions here, but yeah, the point is that yeah, it would be nice because like we have these rich people like Elon Musk that supposedly oppose some of these things. Like I wish they'd use their money for good and start companies that give us more freedom instead of taking it away. Anyways, what's this? So Elon Musk said, "Thank goodness for the First Amendment," and then Sam Parker points out. So somebody said, "Fuck Muslims." Nothing. Fuck Christians, nothing. Fuck Hindus, nothing. And fuck Jews and visibility limited. This post may violate access rules against hateful conduct. Yes. I wonder why. Why is this one group protected? And Macron urges EU response to Trump's tariff threats over censorship law targets US tech firms. After Trump threatened Europe with new tariffs of the EU's censorship law, the Digital Services Act, France's president told ministers it's time to hit back and to start with American tech companies. Trump's warning dropped on Truth Social days after a new US EU trade deal was being finalized, catching Brussels off guard. He demanded the EU ditch the censorship law or face the substantial tariffs and tech restrictions. The message: kill the speech police or pay. Behind closed doors, Macron is reportedly furious. He sees the EU's trade posture as weak, the bloc as not feared enough, and America's edge in services, especially tech, as a problem to solve. See, I have my doubts that is America really trying to protect internet freedom because don't they have their own sort of kids safety online safety act stuff being worked on as well in the congress or wherever illegally, so I do sort of suspect that maybe they don't they just want to bluster a bit, but are they really trying to protect the internet freedom? I doubt it. What's this? Justice in the United States isn't blind. Justice in the United States is anti-white. So Rochester man gets 180 days in jail for raping two girls under the age of 9. Like what the fuck? Shiloh Hendricks charge faces 270 days in jail for using N-word at Rochester playground. So how is this? So yeah, she's been charged with 3 counts of disorderly conduct. How about the child that supposedly stole something from her kid? Like, yeah, it's fucking insane unless these stories here are presented inaccurately. Okay. Breaking: Palantir just took over the CDC. Jim O'Neill has been named as new CDC director, ex-Thiel Foundation director, former partner at Peter Thiel's Mithril Capital. Mithril, the third Tolkien-related thing from me, Peter Thiel. Come on, like shouldn't the Tolkien estate sue him or something for stealing names from Tolkien, or maybe he's paid them some, provision money or something to gain the rights, but I don't know. I'm getting triggered. Anyways, longtime Thiel insider championed FDA reform straight out of Thiel's playbook. The CDC is in public health anymore. It's Palantir's health department. Yeah, probably, but I don't know if CDC has ever actually been about public health. That's a bit of a asterisk, in my opinion. Anyways, Pakistani Mia brothers raped two 7-year-old boys in a mosque. They drugged and prostituted 30 underage schoolgirls. They cut off the toes of two girls, of guys in UK who tried to escape. The court found a total of 62 crimes. This happened in Leeds, UK. Illegal immigration continues to destroy UK. Are they illegal immigrants or legal immigrants? Does it really matter at this point? I'm past the point of wanting them deported. I wonder what he means. I guess a stern winger fagging is something that he's advocating for. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Stern disapproval of their actions. That's in place. Okay, 4chan and Kiwi Farms sue UK regulator Ofcom over online censorship law, citing First Amendment violations. Two of the biggest free speech havens on the internet, 4chan and Kiwi Farms, just sued the UK's media regulator Ofcom in DC federal court, arguing that Britain's Online Safety Act is a blatant attempt to export censorship laws onto US soil. The complaint says Ofcom's threats of fines, prison, and forced ID checks are an attack on the First Amendment itself. I'm just saying that maybe airstrikes would be a better solution against UK. Like, maybe the Blitz, maybe, that guy with the mustache had a point with, with the Blitz and all that stuff. Like, he had a bad, his greatest mistake was wanting peace with this, accursed island. Like, hey, I like a lot of British culture and their language and stuff, but it's like, I already talked about it last week that they're the real bad guy in Europe for the past couple of centuries. They are the source of most of the evil in Europe in recent times, and they're just getting worse. Like, I do sympathize with regular British people, but they should really do something to unfuck their country because, like, I know the rest of the world is fucked too, but like Britain is just so much better at it right now. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just jealous. Last night, mosques and Islamic centers in Essex were spray painted with writings "Christ is King." Like, I'm a bit torn on this. On one side, it feels like some sort of false flag, but on the others, like, why shouldn't they do this? Like, like, maybe a crusade would be in order in few different places, and I'm not even a Christian, but maybe a few crusades would improve the world, like as long as they had some common sense, and not like the crusade that allegedly attacked like Constantinople or like Byzantium, or I'm a bit you know skeptical like how accurate the accounts are of that, but I'm no expert on the matter. But anyways, that's a different story. British people want change, yeah, but they need more than protests. That's something that people should like. That's the point of, well, I think I have some good quotes about democracy coming up pretty soon. So yeah, Shiloh Hendricks has been charged with 3 counts of disorderly conduct by the Rochester City Attorney's Office, blah blah blah. Yeah, and she received hundreds of thousands of dollars on Give and Go after the incident went viral online. Yeah, she, like, okay, what if she just called the kid a thief or an asshole? Would she be in the same trouble? Is it like this N word is just so much more powerful? Like, I wonder. Apple removes iTorrent from third-party App Store Old Store Pal without warning. Apple just killed iTorrent, a legal torrent app hosted on Old Store Pal, a third-party iOS app store in Europe, No warning, no explanation, no appeal. This shows that even when you build something clean, get it reviewed, host it outside the App Store, and follow every visible rule, Apple can will shut you down without a word. Well, hey, I'm surprised that you can actually use some torrents on Apple products overall. Uh, but yeah, we really people should start to discuss these matters that we really have to have some open source software and technology and stuff like legally, and we have to start building oubliettes. I haven't mentioned the word yet, but oubliette is the kind of you know medieval jail cells, like a hole in the ground. You lower somebody in there, and there's no way out. They were gonna only get food with a bucket, like lower a bucket, and yeah, the only way out is through the hole in the roof or the ceiling. So yeah, that's how we're gonna solve a lot of our problems. Build lots of oubliettes and put the appropriate people there. Okay, and oh yeah, this is just retarded. Rwanda will sell its carbon credits to Singapore and partner with China-backed Climate Bridge Group to develop a project offsetting Singapore's 79 million tons of annual carbon emissions per the Paris Agreement. The carbon credits is the most retarded thing ever. Like it's good for Rwanda; they're getting a lot of free money, I guess. But yeah, I'm just shocked by the like. Do some people actually believe that this matter? Oh yeah, there's this. This is the Joan of Arc of Scotland. So Estetica here claims that he spoke with the mom of one of the girls, Maya, and got the entire story that the media is covering up and is lying about. So first of all, the reporting got the names of the girls mixed up. There were three girls who were there who were accosted and attacked by the migrants. Lola is the hero from the video. She's the one with the axe defending her sister from the migrant attackers. Ruby, Lola's older sister, who was attacked and hospitalized. Maya, Ruby's best friend, who was with them and went to call the police after Ruby was attacked by the migrants. Here's the summary of what happened to Maya's mother. What happened from Maya's mother, not to Maya's mother. Yes, so what happened was the girls were out just walking, and the man in the picture made a comments to Lola, the younger girl, calling her sexy and other sexual remarks. And the girls started to tell this man to leave them alone and stop following them and making sexual remarks to them. After that, the man's sister, uh, also in the picture, came around the corner and physically attacked Ruby, the older sister. She grabbed her hair, dragged her to the floor, started to punch her in the both. When then both the man and the woman were kicking her in the head while she was on the floor. At this point, my daughter Maya called the police, so my daughter's account after that is a bit blurry. But that is when Lola had the weapon, she pulled them out to protect Ruby. After that, the man came back at Lola, recording her, making sure she showed the weapons to the camera and antagonizing her. Ruby was hospitalized after the attack with a severe concussion and a tennis ball sized lump on the back of her head, as well as lots of bruises. So, if this is true, and the media hasn't reported on it, you cannot hate the media enough. And there isn't an oubliette dismal enough for the media and for these criminals, if this account is true. It just pisses me off. All right, but let's move on from this kind of tyranny to Israel delenda est. Israel has to be destroyed for the good of the whole world. The political entity of Israel has to be dismantled. Otherwise, there will be no stability, no sanity, nothing like that. Anyway, so Cenk Uyghur, once again, Cenk is becoming like my most trusted media person, and I'm still shocked and aghast by it. But he's been saying reasonable things. Israel just murdered Prime Minister of Yemen. For example, I didn't see many people talk about this stuff on Twitter and stuff. So they murdered the Prime Minister of Yemen and their entire cabinet. If anyone had done this to Israeli Prime Minister and the cabinet, they'd be considered by Western media as the worst terrorist in the world. So what does that make Israel? They're obviously a terrorist state. Yeah, no question about it. Last week I played a video of him calling Israel America's biggest enemy, and not just America, in my opinion, but the rest of the world. So Houthis confirmed their prime minister killed in Israeli strike. So is it Houthis or Yemen? Is it the country is Yemen? It's weird, like the Yemen's Houthi rebel movement. So are they rebels or are they the government? They confirmed that its self-proclaimed Prime Minister Ahmed Khaled Nasser al-Rahavi was killed in an Israeli airstrike earlier this week. The Iran-backed group said, "See, why does it matter?" Said several other senior officials were killed when the Israeli Defense Forces IDF targeted Yemen's capital Sana'a on Sunday. Sana'a, word, because Sana means word in Finnish, so this is a funny word. For word, Sana. Anyways, yeah. So oh, I wish nobody would do something like this to Israel. Oh my God, that would be horrible. No way they would deserve it. No, come on, fuck, Namjak, fuck. Okay, now he's in the same there. And Palantir CEO Alex Karp. So it's the other Palantir guy, I guess. I wasn't even thinking, like, because the Epstein section had Peter Thiel and Palantir, and now here we have this stuff here. I didn't connect them until right now. Anyways, Palantir CEO Alex Karp laughs about profiting from killing Palestinians using AI. He calls them Hamas useful idiots and mostly terrorists, but there's only one terrorist here. Palantir are war criminals. Yeah, sure. So the primary source of death in Palestine is that Hamas has realized there are millions and millions of useful idiots that will use. Yeah. This guy belongs in an oubliette. Um, so apparently Jewish groups get 94% of Homeland Security grants. I'm a bit confused. Historically, Jewish organizations have received 80 to 95% of non-profit security grant program funds per reports from DHS and sources like Orthodox Union. Example, 90% of 2014, 94% of 2010, and major shares in 2025 awards. About 2% of the US population identifies as Jewish, according to Pew Research Center 20. Is it still called democracy when 2% of the population receives 94% of the federal funding? Like, what? I didn't know this. Like, what sort of grants do they get? It's like Homeland Security. This is supposed to protect America from foreign threats. I'm what? Like, genuinely sort of shocked by this info. Not so many things shocked me. It was like, what? Anyways, under praise from the ADL, US Congress has apparently placed Wikimedia under federal investigation by documenting Israel and Jews in Wikipedia articles. It may soon be illegal to factually check that the person is Jewish under Wikipedia's early life section. I guess too many people were noticing. So yes, early life is gonna be removed from Wikipedia. It's like, why is it illegal to say that somebody's Jewish? I thought they could be proud about it, like all their accomplishments. It's curious that it should be. Is it then how is it legal to say that somebody is a Muslim or a Hindu or a Bulgarian or a, I don't know, Swahili speaking person? Is that allowed? Why is Jewish different? I'm a bit curious. How does it work? Okay, now we get to Ezra Pound, the poet. No Rothschild is English, no Baruch, no Morgenthau, Cohen, Lehman, Warburg, Kuhn, Kahn, Schiff, CF, or Solomon was ever born Anglo-Saxon, and it is for this filth that you fight. It is for this filth that you murdered your empire. It is this filth that selects your politicians. You know, yeah. What did he mean by this? Democracy simply means a nation that is run by Jews. American poet Ezra Pound, and I think he and his life, his final years were spent in a madhouse. But it doesn't sound so mad. So especially stuff like this, like, is he wrong? Was he wrong? Was Ezra Pound wrong? Please tell me he was wrong. Ah, yeah, it's the same news here. And Beverly Hills School District has approved a resolution requiring Israeli flags to be displayed across all campuses in May. Why? And in May, this is this is August. Why do they? What's so specific? Is May like the official? Is the like Independence Day of Israel then, or something? 'Cause, Beverly Hills. Last I checked, it was in America, not in Israel. Who rules America? It's the Qataris, right? It's the Muslims. It's the Nazis, right? Come on, man. Fucking Alex Jones or whoever is say that bullshit. Come on, man. Combat Anti-Semitism movement has launched Reported, a mobile app that lets users document anti-Semitic incidents in real time. Reports can be submitted anonymously. Yeah, right. as if that's gonna ever be the case, and now forwarded to law enforcement, media, and community organizations. Would be sad though if somebody would, send false reports. I hope nobody would do that to, fuck up their algorithms and stuff. But why isn't there, combat anti-Finnish movement, anti-Finnitism or something, anti-Bulgarism, anti-Koreanism movement? And yeah, what's the first thought that comes to your mind when you see the parasite controlling this caterpillar? To be honest, so yeah, it's quite ugly and horrible. Like, I don't think the caterpillar looks nice either, but yeah, like somebody said, this looks like an alien. This thing. So yeah, understand your world. Israel, America. Yes. Oh no, the Illuminati is hacking my computer. It started lagging just as I showed these pictures. Israel, America. Obviously, there's no disputing this. But it's not just, well. There should be another. There should be another parasite controlling Europe. What's this? Ah, So now we move on to from Israel and IS to gaming and entertainment news. So the last section, PayPal is now banning people for the books they read, not the publisher, not the author, the reader. That's total mind control tier shit. So this guy says, my Daria Dover, my PayPal account has been banned for buying smutty ebooks. Have I done something illegal? My account got banned a couple of days ago for making purchases with violate terms of service. Upon querying with staff over the phone, I've been told that it was ebooks that I've been buying. I'm panicking a little bit right now. I haven't done anything illegal, have I? The books were mostly stuff about monsters and milking. Some Dubcon stuff. I'm glad to announce I don't know what is Dubcon. If it is illegal, what do I need to do to protect myself? Do I delete my ebooks? If these ebooks aren't illegal, then it's the company. Is the company really allowed to tell me how I'm allowed to spend my money? Like, is this any different to Halifax or nationwide forbidding me from buying cigarettes or alcohol at Tesaks? I'm in England. That's your first mistake. It's like, it's so fucking ignorant. Like, they should know this is what PayPal and proudly announced a few years ago, but alas, nobody paid attention, it seems like it shouldn't be illegal, but they announced it and nobody really gave a shit and they keep using PayPal. So yeah, now they're gonna take your money. And then there's this guy, John Del Arrows, this, based conservative. Based, maybe this dude's answer is not to buy smutty ebooks and stop being a degenerate. Like, I do partially agree with it. Like, perhaps there should be some limiting on like pornographic content, but it's like, okay, let's say that I'd rather have the Inquisition do that. For example, I'm not saying I want that to be, but I think that, the Holy Inquisition would be a better arbiter in these matters than a fucking payment processor. I'm fucking money changer. Like I said something. Yes, I've always dreamed of a dystopian world where money changer middlemen have the power to decide what we can buy and sell. Like, I wish we could discuss these matters like adults, but it's like, no, you're supposed to, there's two ends of a rope and you choose the end on the left or end on the right, and you just have to keep pulling. Like, no, you cannot like discuss the nuance or like, like, perhaps smutty ebooks should be restricted in some matter. Perhaps, I do think that should be discussed genuinely, but this isn't the way. Like, just all that trucker protest few years ago in Canada, whatever, people getting debanked for their political opinions. Like, I guess, I assume John Del Arrows would call that, that a bad thing, but this is good. But where's the difference? Like, well, I don't really believe. I don't think that this guy believes what he's saying. He's in it for the controversy. Like, he's just like, oh, he's assuming this, character of some, Christian conservative warrior, and capitalizing on it to gain attention. That's my view on the matter. Anyways, what's this? Well, this is Milky, and truly, this is a sudden to make an announcement of, but I feel I don't like how she's wording it. To make an announcement of, but I feel it is my heart to try my best to warn other creators before it happens to you as well. PayPal recently, out of nowhere, terminated my account perm, mostly due to Patreon that is 18 plus. I know without a doubt that it was for this reason I sent a transfer and flagged it everywhere, everything on PayPal, and caused my termination once they most likely saw it was an 18 plus Patreon account. As you know, if you don't, payment processors are growing more and more against 18 plus creators, and finding any way to terminate them the moment you are on the radar, it's game over and you will lose your account. Yeah, so maybe you shouldn't put all your you shouldn't be using this. Like, of course, others might do it as well, but like PayPal was fucking proud about it. It shouldn't be news. You should pay attention. Use the money. If you have lots of money, use it to hire a lawyer. But now she can't because they stole your money. Anyway, I never thought this would happen to me. I've been a creator for 5 years and I have never had any issues. Yeah, it behooves you to pay attention to this stuff. I'm still shocked and in disbelief, but I know without a doubt, it was my Patreon. What does it mean for me now? Please do not donate to me, as I have no valid work in PayPal. I've made a choice of no longer creating 18 plus content on my Patreon, as I am left with no other choice. I do not intend to fight these payment processors. It's a fight no one can win because we are all at their mercy. Please keep in mind, if you really think things like it's fine, it's not going to happen to you, please rethink, because this is exactly what I thought as well until it happened to me. It's only a matter of time. I'm losing my sympathy for this person. It's like, well, yeah, okay, I can understand that you cannot fight payment processors, and but like we are at their mercy. Like, I don't know, it's this victim mentality. Like, no, you should, like, you cannot fight them head on. Like, you're a freaking, young girl or whatever. You're a, young girl, and you cannot fight fucking, you know metallic demon bull head on. Like, if you try to use your strength directly against it, but like, hey, maybe you can, rally the villagers and build a trap together to fight the fucking bull or something. Like, you can do it less directly if you really care. But it's like, clearly she didn't care before, because it's like using Patreon. And it's like, I'm not saying she deserves to lose the money or anything, but it's like, people should have basic awareness of stuff. Like, you're walking down the street and there's a big gaping hole into hell, and you fall into it. Like, it's partially your own fault if you didn't see the big gaping hole in front of you. uh, the US isn't even a country, it's three corporations in a trench coat. Yes, except that the picture debunks the argument, it's five corporations. But okay, there's three corporations in a trench coat, so maybe Exxon and Apple are different countries then. Maybe but yeah, that's true. Corporations owned by Israel, of course. Oh yeah, and I said corporate. Maybe it's too self something. Quoting myself here, but it's like, I haven't mentioned the concept of corporate death penalty, because corporations are people too. They should be punished like people, whether it's death penalty or a lashing or something, or imprisonment. Corporations are people too, but they never get punished like people. That's wrong in my opinion. Let's reload this thing as well. Fucking see, now the corporations don't like me talking, and now it's hello, hello. Okay, corporations, they're making my computer laggy. What's going on here? All right, MasterCard and Visa have been outed for being heavily involved with Sega's North, Carla Reyes, and a politician that worked under Obama as the OSTP for funding government programs. It's even connected to the UK censorship of the internet. So, okay, I don't know all the details, but yeah, Take Us North is the video game about, like, promoting illegal immigration into the United States. See, like, if Donald Trump really cares about America and is actually, good president, he should look into it and assign a team or something to do something about MasterCard and Visa, and send them into an oubliette. An Overwatch 2 player was reportedly permanently banned after calling somebody a noob. Blizzard flag question mark and worse as also inappropriate, noting prior similar behavior. Like, okay, I've never played any Overwatch, but like, this reminds me of like when I played Dota 2 when it first came out like 15 years ago. I played it for like 2 or 3 days. Like, part of it was fun, but at some point I just rage quit and never touched it, because MOBA games, they're designed to make you mad. But anyway, so I remember, like, maybe it was maybe my second day playing, and some of my teammate looked at me like, oh, we are already like 20 minutes into the game and you only have bought one or two items or whatever. What's going on? It's like, accusing me of being a noob or something. It was like, at least you could have just called me a noob, because I was a noob. I was like, I just started playing. I'd never touched Dota 1 or anything, so I didn't really know what I was doing. So it's like, yeah, it doesn't help me to play better if you're whining about it. Like, I don't think I responded anything. It's like, yeah, I'm a fucking noob, I'm learning the game, so fucking sue me. But yeah, I didn't want, well, I want the, maybe I shouldn't say, but it pissed me off because the guy was annoying. But it shouldn't be up for the Blizzard or whoever or Valve to ban them. Yeah, Microsoft Word to save new files to cloud by default. The desktop version of Microsoft Word will now auto-save all docs to the cloud by default. Local storage is still possible, but buried in settings. They call it modernization, another step in pushing users into Microsoft's cloud and trading control and privacy for convenience, quote unquote. Luckily, I used like an ancient version of Microsoft Word. Like when I got this computer a couple of years ago, I see like turned on Word once, and it's like, was it like that I have to pay some extra? Like, is the subscription stuff? I don't know. Like, it just seemed horrible. I don't remember exactly what went on. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna use this fucking Word. It was horrible already back then. And then I thought like, okay, I should use some open source whatever text processing stuff. And then I remember like, oh, I found this file. It fell off a back of a truck, and then I installed it, and it still worked. This older version of Microsoft Word. So yeah, that still works well. Okay, what's this? Valve has been forced by the UK Online Safety Act and Ofcom to force users to verify through credit card information. Steam offers a disclaimer showcasing that this was the best option out of all the horrendous other ways they could have implemented this. So, privacy and security. Among all age assurance mechanisms reviewed by Valve, this process preserves the maximum degree of user privacy. The data processed in the verification process is identical to that of millions of other Steam users who make purchases or store their payment details for convenience. The verification process, therefore, provides no information about the user's content preferences or to payment providers or other third parties. Valve handles the verification process using its own internal payment processing system, which is independently certified under the PCI DSS standard. So I guess that's good, but it's also very bad because it's like it just sounds like slowly and slowly Valve is losing ground. Like I really hope that Valve is like working on their own payment process. They already said they have some internal payment processing system, so they should be working on some of their own stuff to to free themselves from the yoke of the payment processors and UK. Uh, but I don't know if they're doing. I'm not gonna assume that they are doing, or maybe they're just waiting until the inevitable. But it does seem like Valve is slowly heading off the cliff. Like I just wonder what's gonna happen to my more than 1,000 games on Steam that I have. Like I prepared that one day something bad is gonna happen to Steam, and part of me is waiting for the gaming apocalypse, but like I just hope there will be always seven seas. Steam is now prompting me to prove I'm over 18. My account is 19 years old. Yeah, this is ridiculous. So yeah, it's but yeah, they're in UK, so it's like maybe you should start a revolution instead. That might fix the problem. Like maybe you shouldn't be born British, or at least don't live in Britain. Yeah, thank God I'm not British. According to Steam, early access is no longer available for games with mature themes. The restriction of adult games continues. So, failure. Your app has failed our review because we're unable to support the early access model of development for a game with mature themes. Please resubmit your app is ready to launch without early access. When your app is ready. See, hey, partially this might be good because maybe overall early access was a bad idea. Like certainly there are some games that benefit from it, but there's also lots of vaporware and stuff like that. People never really finish their games and stuff because of early access. But yeah, it's like once again, I'm not the biggest fan of, especially like Steam. Just like mature games. As I don't know, they should just call it porn games because you could say like some war game with lots of gore and stuff might be a mature game. I don't like the terminology, but whatever. It's porn games. So yeah, not necessarily like I could once again Steam didn't allow them for a long time until they did, but now it's like I don't like the flip flopping. Just make us clear policy so people know what to expect because like It's very arbitrary. Arbitrary is bad in rulers. You play Crusader Kings, you know that, right? So Ichio withheld this man's payments for over 30 days, causing him to lose his housing and banned him under a frivolous policy. Then the Reddit moderator closed the discussion. How is Reddit a real place? So Ichio hasn't paid me in 30 days, lost my housing because of it. But the mod says your account is in blatant violation of our adult content policy, specifically with regards to depiction of real life humans. Uh, so in the future, please include your support ticket ID in a thread post here so a staff member can look up to your request. You'll be notified of a support with details to close, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's real life humans, like, depicting, I don't know, Donald Trump having sex with Greta Thunberg or something. Is that the kind of game they made? Independent Club. So yeah, it's a bit because the wording implies that he was supposed to be paid by Ichio, but according to this, it's like they weren't. So it's not clear who's in the wrong here. Oh no, it sounds like Ichio turned this creator's life into a real life game over screen. Maybe the mod thought real life humans were the ultimate cheat code. Let's hope the support ticket ID comes with a power up to fix this mess. What? Football game. Hey, I have that on Steam. It was okay. So what's going on? Yeah, maybe I should do. No, maybe I can see something possibly wrong. I thought it was an image, but it's actually a link. I don't really know what this means. Whatever. So it's a bit vague what actually happened here, but still wanted to talk about Ichio as well because it's still semi hot topic. This is the first ever generation where console prices have increased rather than fallen. Also, the less console exclusives than any previous Gen 2. So PlayStation 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4 supposedly are, have lower price 5 years later, but PlayStation 5 is higher price. Wait, is it already 5 years since PlayStation 5 came out? Was it in 2020? Damn. Feels like it just came out. Like, okay, it feels like maybe a couple of years, but yeah, could be. It was in the early days of COVID, so yeah. I do like I played a little bit with PlayStation 5. I did like the controller, but nothing else about the console. Like my favorite console controller is the PlayStation controller. That's certainly, and I do think like the fifth one felt better. The little bit I played with it, maybe I would grow to dislike it if I used it more. But still, I am not a fan of new PlayStations. So it's official. Konami's Metal Gear Solid 3 remake removes the EVA X-ray scene, tones down the jiggle physics, and adds more censorship overall. But here it says the X-ray scenes still exist. I guess I don't really know. I haven't played the game, but apparently there is some censorship, so that's haram in my book. I well, I wouldn't be buying that anyway. But especially if a game is censored, it offends me truly. Like that's been my policy for like over 2 decades already. That if I know a game has been censored, I won't be buying it. And there's also this disclaimer in Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater remake. This game contains expressions and themes from the original version which may be considered outdated and have been included without alteration to preserve the historical context in which the original game was made and the creator's original vision. Player discretion is advised. Like some might say it's a good thing, like, oh, nothing has been altered. Well, first of all, according to this guy, some things were altered. But even if nothing was altered, well, this adding this already was an alteration because, like, you know, back when this game came out 20 years ago or whenever, um, none of the games had this, like, if a game was made in 1990 and it was had a remake in like 2005, they wouldn't add a disclaimer like this, like, when I used if you read books, like, 20 years ago, if you read a book about written in ancient Rome or by, Nietzsche over 100 years ago, they didn't have these disclaimers. Why do we suddenly need disclaimers? Like, yes, people in the past used to have different values, and especially some fucking games like around 20 years old. I don't remember the exact year when this came out, but it's like, why do we need a disclaimer? Like, maybe if you need a disclaimer like this, maybe you shouldn't be playing games. Maybe you shouldn't have many rights in society. Like, maybe slavery was a good thing. Localizers have been caught going completely mask off with ruining translations for anime, manga, and games. We even have someone working for Crunchyroll admitting they don't even like anime and want to change it for being problematic. So, well, Japan is super racist, homophobic, fatphobic. Pretty much they rank 110 out of 144 countries gender equal. Japan, Japan. If you're against censorship, blah blah blah. Okay. In so yeah, I actually like has some university classes of translation studies, and back then already, that was 2 decades ago or so. They used the word localizer. Like, they weren't so cancerous back then, but I always hated the word localizer. Why can't you just call it translator? Like, I know what it means. Like, because when you translate, you cannot just translate some things word to word. Like, you have to sometimes explain some stuff about the foreign culture. Like, yeah, you have an American movie and somebody mentions Kool-Aid or Cracker Barrel, and people who aren't American might not know, and so maybe you have to explain something, and that's fine. But I still don't like localizers because that sounds like it's going too far. Because I always like a little bit of the original language saying behind, like, many Asian, like, Asian dramas and stuff. The texts usually say "I will live first," like, when somebody's saying bye bye, basically. Like, nobody says that in English, like "I will live first," unless it's really important to point out that you will be living first and not second. But it's like, I sort of like it that it's, or like, if you say, watch Japanese stuff and they say "onichan" or "itadakimasu," I think it's fine to have that sort of stuff, especially if it's like, some anime fan translation. Like, it's sort of nice to bring you closer to the source culture. So that's why I'm not a fan usually of heavy localization, but of course some degree is necessary. But yeah, just, my I've I guess I just want to, brag that I've hated the term localizer before it was cool. And Versus latest Honkai title is a monster racing auto chess style game. The Honkai Nexus anime has been officially announced. An AI. Fuck. Hello? Computer, don't freeze on me. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Okay, finally it unfroze. So, yeah. So, IP consultant claims that Hayo versus game infringes on Nintendo's mount patent from the Palworld lawsuit. And I do believe that's true, because you can see them using flying mounts, and there's also some like riding mounts later on. Okay, it's working really badly. I'm not gonna play it. Not. Fuck. Why is fucking piece of garbage? How can a freaking video slow down? Hello. Okay, let's close the tab. So yeah, it infringes. So supposedly, like, it does infringe on Nintendo's patent. That is just goes to point out how fucking bullshit Nintendo's patent is. Because, in Palworld, they claim that they own the patent to, having a game where you can ride your Pokemon or any kind of, animal monster thing. Like, well, yeah, how about Zelda, well, that's Nintendo, but like you can ride a horse in some Zelda games. Does it only count, not real animals or like any kind of stuff? Like it's absolutely bullshit, and Nintendo Delendaes, I fucking hate Nintendo nowadays. Anyways, Silent Hill F hands-on preview and interview. The F is for feminism. So Silent Hill F, come on. Okay, Silent Hill F hands-on preview and interview. The F is for feminism. Okay, okay. I have to just start. There's only few fucking tabs left, and now it's starting to freeze on me. Piece of garbage. Yeah. So, oh, okay. The creators of the first Silent Hill game set in Japan explain how they're aiming to elevate the whole survival horror genre with an impassively thoughtful new sequel. And so, Hinako Siemens' arc in Silent Hill F is shaped by the Japanese women's rights movement of the 1960s and depicts how she musters the courage to combat repression she encounters. Well, yeah, it does sound horrifying. That's the case, but it's like, and she actually like here she looks quite ugly. It's like, why? Like, okay, a Silent Hill game set in the 1960s Japan, and you play as a schoolgirl sounds interesting, but if this other stuff doesn't, and there's one thing like I wanna say, like maybe it's just me that has this issue, but um, like well, I'm getting tired of because there's like so many fucking franchises with a million sequels. Because for me, I usually like to play these sequels in the right order. Like because I've only played Silent Hill 1 and 2. I've never played 3 or 4 or whatever how many sequels there are. And hey, maybe I should try to play some of them, but it's like I don't feel like okay, like in addition to this stuff, it's like when this cat comes out, like I don't feel like, oh, I'm gonna buy that because I want to play the prequels first, or the predecessor games first before getting into it. Even though there's probably isn't like any continuous storyline or stuff, but it's like I'm just wondering, like, is it a bad financial strategy in that sense? Well, I guess the brand recognition probably brings in a lot of money, but for me, it's the opposite usually. Like if they made a new franchise, like made a Quiet Mound instead. There's like okay, there's no baggage in the franchise, so I'd be more interested maybe. But anyways, and then this is the last story. All right. So some fans of harem anime will defend shows like High School DxD and Tsulavru or Turaboru, but nobody should be watching them. So 10 problematic harem anime you should absolutely avoid. Of course, yeah, everybody's saying the same joke. New watch list has just dropped. You should be watching one of them. I watched both of these anime and I thought they were decent enough. Uh, but like, I'm certainly I'm all for you should be able to voice negative opinions about about any kind of media, whether it's games or anime or whatever. Like I'm fine if you think they are degenerate or shit or boring or whatever, but like saying this just sounds like you know it's the usual, like oh my god, they have um visually they have females that appeal to the male gaze. That's clearly what they are implying here. That's why you shouldn't watch them, because like and there are many things you can criticize about them, but that this isn't really is criticized. It's just because because they appeal to the male gaze. That's I'm pretty sure that's the I haven't read the article, I'm not gonna bother, but that's obvious what this is about. And these kind of people, they just should they should be in the oubliette with their masters. Like these are like the slaves, and they should be there with their masters, or maybe separate them, because then the slaves might help the masters by building a human ladder or something. But yeah, it's just horrendous. Like, yeah, I'm fine. You can shit on them all you want, but at least have some actual criticism and not just like, oh my god, they depict females that look appealing. Horrible. But that's it for this week. So let's see if Trump will actually get back to work, hale and healthy, and all that stuff. And I don't know. Let's see if UK will be less of a dystopian shithole. I truly hope so, but I'm not holding my breath and all that. And let's start building those oubliettes. I should start an oubliette party. Let's make a global oubliette party. Like, Louis Rossman is starting his Clippy movement. That, change your profile picture to Clippy. And hey, he's, of course he has a bigger audience and stuff, and he's doing a lot of good, but like, it's a bit too mild for me. I prefer oubliettes. They would be a better solution to many problems. I'm not one to fight with legal warfare. I'm just saying, we should bring oubliettes and find ways to make people end up in those oubliettes. Totally, legally, of course. We have to change the law so it's legal. I'm not for any kind of vigilante stuff. But whatever, I'm Adventure Argonaut, and I thank you for watching, and bye bye.